Hello Internet people, and welcome back to the third video in a series about the Unity Universal Render Pipeline. In this video we're going to be looking at how to get a good glow effect using the Universal Render Pipeline and other features within Unity. So let's get back to our Unity project from the previous video. We're going to look at two approaches at getting a glow effect, first of which is less effective. First steps, let's remove the post-processing effects that we added previously. Open up the post-processing profile, which I named PPP, and in the inspector remove film grain and vignette. Then for our glow effects to work effectively, we need to add the bloom override. Click Add Override, select Post-Processing, then Bloom. Set the threshold to 2 and set intensity to 0.5. Next, let's adjust our camera so that our glows are more apparent. So select the main camera, set background type to solid colour and ensure the colour is set to black under background. Now let's adjust our material to create that glow effect. We're going to change the look of our yellow sphere. So let's navigate to the sphere material, then tick the emission checkbox and set our colour to a colour of our choice, yellow in my case, and set the intensity to 1. You can set it higher if you wish and that will increase the glow effect. So there we have it, a simple glow effect, but you'll notice there's something not quite right. It seems offset. This is because emissions get affected by the light source. To demonstrate this, let me move our light source. Selecting the directional light in our scene and moving it. Around its Y rotation, you'll note the glow seems to intensify based on its rotation, i.e. I can flip it from one side to the other and the emission seems to change sides on the sphere. So to correct this, we need to alter our material, and this is the second approach to creating a glow effect, which is much more precise. For this, we need to create a material that utilises shader graph. Shader graph should be installed by default when using URP, but let's just check the packages to ensure it's present. So go to the window menu and select Package Manager. Type shader in the search box and shader graph should appear at the top. Make sure the install version is verified against your version of Unity, in this case 2019.3. At the bottom right of the Package Manager, it should have a button marked as Up to Date. If not, it will either state Update or Install, and therefore you should choose one of those options instead to ensure the correct version of shader graph is present. Exiting the Package Manager, we now need to create a new PBR graph shader. To do this, right-click in your Assets folder or subfolder, set Create, followed by Shader and PBR graph from the context menu, and now name it appropriately, in my case, Glow. Double-click the new Glow shader asset to open shader graph. You may find that the shader graph window opens in a docked format. I like to undock it and make it a full screen as it's much easier to use in that mode. Move the PBR master node to the central location for ease. You do this by clicking and dragging using the node title bar. At this point, we need to add a number of new nodes. First, we should create 2 colour nodes. To do this, right-click and select Create Node from the context menu. In the search box, type Colour, and then double-click on the colour node when it is listed. Repeat this for the second colour node. Next, we need to create a Fresnel effect node. So right-click again and select Create Node from the context menu, but this time, in the search box, type Fresnel, and double-click on Fresnel effect to create the new node. Next, we need to add a multiply node. So right-click again and select Create Node, but this time in the search box type Multiply, and double-click on the multiply node to create the new node. Now position the nodes. We want a colour node, a multiply node and a Fresnel effect node to be in the lower part of the graph, and at the higher part we need another colour node. Next, let's set the colour node to HDR mode. This provides a glow effect, and then double-click on the black colour box within the node to choose our colour. In my case, yellow with a HDR setting of 1. We then want to connect the top colour node to the albedo input of the PBR graph. By clicking and dragging from the out connector on the colour node and releasing when the mouse is positioned over the albedo connector of the PBR graph node. Next, we need to connect our colour and Fresnel effect to the multiply node. So let's connect the out of the lower colour node to the A input of the multiply node, and then the out of the Fresnel effect node to the B input of the multiply node, like so. Then we need to choose our colour, as we did previously with the albedo colour node. In my case, I will set this to yellow with a HDR value of 1 again. Finally, we need to connect the multiply node out to the emission in on the PBR master, like so. And that's our glow shader created. Click Save Asset and close the shader graph window. Now we need to set our sphere material to use our newly created shader. Select the sphere material in the asset folders, and on the drop-down menu next to Shader in the inspector, navigate to Shader Graphs and select our new glow shader. Assuming that your scene is set up correctly, you should now instantly see the sphere has a better glow effect applied. If you find that the glow effect isn't working, check to ensure that your Universal Render Pipeline is configured to use HDR. To do this, select your URP configuration asset in your Assets folder. Ensure that the HDR checkbox is ticked under the quality setting in the inspector. And there you have it, 2 ways to create a simple glow effect using the Universal Render Pipeline within Unity. In the next video, we will be looking at how we can control these effects using scripts. I would just like to say I really appreciate every bit of feedback, every like and every subscription that I receive. If you like this video, please hit the like button below. If you like my series and my approach to these videos, please hit the subscription button and the bell notification. This way you'll get notified every time I release a video, which is usually on a weekly basis. My next video in this series will be about using scripts to actually control the Universal Render Pipeline and features of post-processing. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you next time.